got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to PSGL. George Morgan here and Jack Pinner. All the lights are currently lit here on track. And it is go, go, go! Donoso with a crafty maneuver up the inside. Masterclass from the Chilean.
Crucial championship points on offer here.
Judo Countdown, Danny Berezne.
Longe has done the job. This is for the win between these two.
Freddie Rasmussen wins the United States Grand Prix.
Alfie Butcher wins for the first time ever. Lucas Blakely takes the championship. It's Barry Borman.
Jarno Opmeer is your champion.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to PSGL here for round number 4 of season 37 in the F4 Championship on the PlayStation tiers. My name is, of course, Michael Edwards, going to be taking you through the action, and joining alongside me in the country box, he is back, is Mr. Danny Quinn. Danny, how you doing, mate?
I'm feeling really good, of course. It is my first time in the commentary box for this season, so I'm excited to see what this tier has in store.
Absolutely, and obviously we're 3 races into the season. We did just come off the back of the break week, and tonight's race sees us taking the circuit of Barcelona, Catalonia for the Spanish Grand Prix, Quinn. And this race can be very interesting at times. It's a track that everyone knows pretty much like the back of their hand. Very, very good racing we've seen in the past around this circuit. Are we expecting more of the same here tonight?
Definitely. I think there's some half opportunities for overtaking, mainly down the pit straight with the massive DRS zone and into turn 1. Potentially into turn 4 as well as an overtaking zone if you have a good enough run. But from my experiences, the qualifying is slightly important here, but overtaking can be done.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's have a quick look at as we have a little glance at the Circuit of Barcelona Catalonia. 4.6 kilometers, 2.8 miles an hour, 14 corners, and 2 DRS zones, one down into towards turn number 1 and one down into turn number 10. And of course, with the circuit being a lot wider nowadays as compared to what it used to be, especially in our final sector, is definitely going to provide a little bit of more opportunities into turn 10. Maybe get a good run through 10 and you can be side by side through 11 into 12. And then of course you got the final 2 corners where it's so tricky to get spot on, because it's all about carrying the speed through those 2 corners, and it's very easy just to carry a little bit too much speed and then take a little bit of an entry onto the curb, shall we say, on the outside, especially coming onto that start finish straight.
Yeah, of course. And going through those 2 corners, from my personal experiences, you don't want to be overturning your wheel, because that'll just scrub off so much speed. You don't want to be turning too much. Otherwise, you'll just be a sitting duck down the pit straight. And of course, after, turn 4 and 5, if you can stick with someone going through turn 4 through to turn 5 and 6, you can have a massive battle going all the way back to the pit straight.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, the results from last time out when we went racing in Austria, it was a fantastic race. Mankley across the line as the race went out on track, but a post-race penalty dropped him from the race victory down to P6 in the end, promoting Sergio to the top step of the podium soapbox from P18 on the grid, so pretty much from the back of the grid, and he walked away with a P2 finish. So an incredible result there for Soapbox, and Ismail completed the podium with Lorenzino in 4th, Boyolulu in 5th, and as mentioned, Mankley with that time penalty did drop him down into 6th place. Obviously, we got Alpha Kevin in P7 with ASRT Kevin in P8. P9 went the way of Reese. Now, Reese was battling for the race win with the likes of Sergio and, of course, Mankley, but a 3-second time penalty was the undoing for his race, which dropped him all the way down the order. And then, of course, we had Sam collecting that final point-paying position. What that's done in terms of the driver standings is, of course, it's tied at the top, as you got Joris Likes Food, who DNF'd last time out in Austria. He is there with Soapbox, both on 25 points. Both are 2 points ahead of Ismail in 3rd place. Reese on 21 points. And then, of course, you got Sergio also on 21 points. 5 drivers in the top 5, separated by 4 points, Quinn. Very close early on.
Definitely sounds very close there, and if it keeps on going like that, we're going to have a title fight for the ages.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, outside of the top 5, we got Boyolulu in 6th place in the Visa Cash App Racing Bulls on 16 points. And of course, we got Santero on 12 points. The Red Bull of ASRT Kevin on 11 points, 9 points apiece for both Mangley in P9 and of course Federico in P10. 8 points there for Lorenzino, the second of the Visa Cash App Racing Bulls, in 11th place. And of course, we got Sem in the McLaren on 6 points, along with Tio. 5 points there for Alex Gamer. And then, of course, we have Alpha Kevin on 4 points, 2 points for Grav Roach in 16th, 17th place, and 18th. Sally Dennis and, of course, Sam, both on a singular point apiece. And of course, that is how things are looking in the Drivers' Championship. Let's see what it's looking like in the Constructors. And it is the Alpines that lead the way. Of course, they are in the lead on 27 points, 1 point ahead of the Aston Martins in 2nd place. And of course, we've got the Saubers in 3rd on 25 points. And then, of course, we've got the Visa Cash App Racing Bulls on 24 points. So 4 Constructors, separated by 3 points. So not only is it close in the drivers, it's close in the constructors as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I know we're not quite ready to go on the track, but it just seems like there's a massive hurry up for the cars to go past, and it's looking very overcast, so potentially some rain for this qualifying session.
I think without further ado, we are on board with Alpha Kevin, who's going to get us underway for the first flying lap of the session as we run down in towards turn number 1. DRS wide open for Alpha Kevin, looking for the braking point to get that car slowed down and rotated through turn number 1. Kissing the inside curb there for turn number 2 and trying to set himself up to really open up turn number 3 for him, keeping it very tight on the inside line there through turn number 3. First sector split of a 21.5 as we go through turn number 4 now. And drifting out wide but bringing it back in on the exit. There was set himself up lovely for turn number 5. Big lock up there on the front left tyre, but is all in hand right now for Alpha Kevin as we come in towards turn 7 and 8 as we climb up the hill to the turn 9 right-hander where it is maximum commitment there. DRS wide open as we look at this middle sector split and the braking for turn number 10. A 50.4 in the middle sector. Big lock up there as we go through 10. Now in towards turn number 11 and through turn number 12. Down to third gear, momentarily shifting up into fourth there for Alpha Kevin. And now this is all about carrying the momentum, especially through the final corner. 6th gear, the gear choice for Alpha Kevin. DRS wide open to the line, he'll come. And it's an 11.6 to get us underway here.
Yeah, very good lap, and that is Reese going even quicker. And yeah, the times are flying in at the moment. No one's beating this Salva just yet. It looks like a very solid benchmark from the Salva so far.
Yeah, absolutely. As we've got Sem coming to the line right now. Of course, Santero popping into the pits. Looks like he might have made a mistake on his flying lap. And the interesting thing, obviously, everyone flooding out the pits nice and early. It is quite overcast. Do we think there's a threat of rain at some point in this session?
I think there definitely is. We don't usually see all of the cars flooding out as soon as the session starts, so potentially could be a threat of rain, and they're just wanting to get their lap done as quick as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like you said, Santero in the pits. I think he did invalidate his lap, and yeah, he's just in the pits. He's the only person without a time, so could potentially be disastrous for Santero.
Yeah, it depends if there is going to be rain, and if there is going to be rain, how quickly does it arrive? That will be the big question, as Santero's still in the pits at the moment. Of course, 15 drivers here tonight, so opportunity for a fair few of these guys to get some good points on the board. And that, I think, was the spin. That was the spit of rain right there, as we just saw it in the pit lane, the spit of rain, and it is beginning to empty the heavens, shall we say.
Yeah, looks like Lorenzino actually fueled up for 2 laps, unless... No, I think he's just taking a chance on a second lap. And he did improve in the first sector. Marginally, but he did improve. He went for a little slide there, but the rain does seem to be picking up, and he is able to keep it on track.
Yeah, let's see what the middle
through the
sector
second
is.
sector.
Oh, he's down.
2.5 down. Yeah, he's really struggling. He's gonna have to come into the pits, and Santero, he isn't even on a flying lap, so he's really gonna struggle. So I think he just has to firm it and go back into the pits to Santero.
Yeah, and it's very unusual. Of course, the way qualifying is pretty much all said and done. After less than 6 minutes of the session, it will be Reese on the top step, unless it dries up towards the end of the session. We don't know yet, but potentially this could be the starting grid for the race.
Yeah, it could be, and I'm just on board with Santero now, and he was sliding all over the place through turn 1 and 2. So, might now just be getting too wet for the slick tyres, and I think Santero just wants to have a time on the board.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't blame him for wanting to get a time on the board, 'cause you never know if you can just find the grip. Now, maybe you can sneak up one position, but obviously it's going to be very difficult for him to really set a competitive lap time here.
Yeah, definitely. And well, I can already tell compared to others that he's having to lift through there, it's not going to be nearly as fast as anyone else.
A 57
Yeah,
flat in the middle sector, that is
Yeah.
considerably off the pace of what we saw in the opening laps. But DRS has been
Oh,
disabled,
he
and there
does
we go.
slide. Yeah,
Yep.
he's off. Might just
Traction.
keep it going though.
Yeah, kept it out the wall, but traction, big issue there for Santero. And honestly, depending on whether or not the track does dry out towards the end, I think this is going to be.
People are retiring. People are retiring from the session, so I think that's an indicator that it'll be staying like this for the remainder of the session.
Well, I mean, it'll also be interesting if there is rain, obviously forecasted for the race. Is this an opportunity for some of these guys to get a little bit of intermediate running in?
Yeah, it could be, but judging by the people retiring, I don't think there will be.
Well, it definitely looks like it is going to be remaining damp for the rest of the session with the amount of retirements that we have had. And it also looks like potentially it's not going to be any changeable conditions in the race, because I would assume if there was, everyone would be making sure they get some intermediate run-ins going and just feeling the track on the green-walled intermediate tyres. But as it stands, I mean, Reese with a 11.5, one lap was all it took for Reese to put on the top step on the front row on pole position, and he has Alpha Kevin alongside him.
Yeah, it's very good showing for the Red Bulls as well, 3rd and 5th. And everyone else and their teammates are pretty far spread out, apart from the RBs. And especially the Saubers basically getting the whole field in a kick Sauber sandwich.
Yeah, and of course, with no Joris here tonight, no Soapbox here tonight. Ismail all the way down in 13th place. Big.
Soapbox is here.
Is he?
He's in 7th.
Oh, I apologize, Soapbox. I completely missed your name. But yeah, I mean, with obviously Soapbox in 7th, and obviously Ismail down in 13th place. Big opportunity for Reese, obviously P4 in the championship. Huge opportunity for him to maybe get himself the top of the championship at the end of this race.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like Sam is going to be going out. Or someone, yeah. Sam went out on track and then instantly retired.
Well, there you go, guys. Let's run you through the order one more time. It is Reese on pole position with a 11.5. Alpha Kevin will join him on the front row in P2 with Niels in P3. Sam Van Marzeren in P4 with Tio in P5. Mangley in P6 with Soapbox in P7. Sem in P8. Lorenzino in P9. And of course, EVE Sam rounding out the top 10. Outside the top 10 will be Dennis, Boyolulu, Ismail, Solax, and of course Federico. And then rounding up the back of the grid is of course Santero. Guys, we will be back in just a moment after our word from our sponsors. Well, Quinn, not much to talk about in qualifying. It was just a one lap, but it appears we're going straight into the race. So we'll jump reaction on track. So we get those 5 red lights, and Actually, no. I believe
Another
we're having a restart. Yes, of course. I thought with the updates now we'd be past that, but yeah, guys. Yeah, not much to talk about in terms of qualifying. It was one of those qualifying sessions where it was just a one-shot qualifying, and it was Reese who did manage to put it on pole position, and he got the lap in when it mattered. And of course, it is one of those situations where there's not a huge amount of what we could have seen in terms of potential from these guys.
Yeah, but I think, well, it isn't a massive indication, but going off your first lap, you can sort of see, well, how much practice people have put in, really. You'll have, well, unless people make mistakes during their lap, it's usually the order of the first lap is usually an indicator of how it will look.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we will run you through the rest of the standings now, whilst we are getting the lobby. And of course, we'll continue with the constructors. Of course, it is Red Bull in 5th place on 11 points, 9 points apiece for Mercedes in 6th, and Scuderia Ferrari in 7th, 6 points for the McLaren team in 8th, 9 points for the Haas F1 team on 2 points. And then, of course, Williams in 10th place on 1 singular point. And, of course, we got the constructors, a very close battle at the top in terms of the constructors. Likewise, in terms of the Drivers' Championship as well. I mean, early on, 3 different drivers.
Well,
Oh, go on.
Oh, sorry, I was just going to say, this early in the season, you're going to have it being very close at the top in both championships, and as the season develops, you're going to have people becoming more consistent, and potentially both drivers and teams being more consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we had Reese take victory in round number 1 at Silverstone. Of course, Joris Like Food took victory in Miami, and of course we had Sergio who took the victory in Austria. 3 different winners, and the only driver that has been on the podium, there's 2 drivers that have been on the podium twice this season, Soapbox in P2 and Ismail in P3. So they're both showing early on that they got some consistency about them. Reese, I know for a fact, was in that battle for the race win in Austria. Of course, when it came to Miami, unfortunately, there was internet issues, which meant there was no stream for that. So for that, we do apologise. But Reese looks like he's got the consistency, he's got the pace, but that penalty cost him massively in Austria, and I'm not sure if it was a similar story in Miami as well. But I mean, early on, Joris looks like he's on it. Obviously, Soapbox looks very on it this season. Ismail looks to be back to his best, and of course Reese is looking very good as well. And then of course you got Sergio, who of course missed round number 2 and has been able to get himself up there in the top 5 with an 8th place finish in Silverstone with the fastest lap, and then of course the race victory last time out in Austria. So we got 5 drivers that are looking very sharp at the early stages of the season.
Yeah, definitely. It should definitely, if it can continue the way it started, like I said before, we'll have a very, very close world title fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we will transfer you guys back over to our lovely faces as we look to get the session back underway shortly, as the grid is being set right now. Honestly, Spain, one of those circuits where it can be very hit or miss, as we got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. James Head in the chat saying evening, and good evening to you too, James. How are you doing? But yeah, Spain, one of those circuits that can be very hit or miss. Definitely, it's always been an interesting one, especially in terms of racing, especially in PSGL. We've always had quite a lot of action here, and it's always been a race that has kind of just gone under the radar as a potential race of the season candidate. I don't know your opinions on it, Quinn, but it's always been just under the radar for that for me.
Yeah, it definitely has. It's produced some exciting racing in the past, most notably Max Verstappen's first win and something else that happened in that race between the two Mercs that we don't really want to talk about.
We can talk about it. I mean, apparently there was an issue wrong with he pressed the wrong button, didn't he? Nico Rosberg. But yeah, yeah, real life obviously it's not. It's one of those tracks, real life, where obviously they've driven it so much now. It used to be one of the test track and everything. So it's just the drivers know it like the back of their hand. But in terms of like league racing and that in general, it's always been a very interesting race to go racing at, because there are opportunities to overtake and there are opportunities to get moves done. Obviously, you mentioned earlier turn number 1 being the main one, and obviously turn number 10. But if you can get a good run out of turn number 3, you can have a look down the inside or potentially hold it around the outside through 4 to set yourself up for turn number 5, where we have seen some good action there in the past. And I'm hoping to see more of it again here tonight. And based on what I've seen so far this season from Silverstone and Austria, I'm not going to lie, this grid definitely does like to have a good battle with each other. So I think we're definitely going to be in for a treat.
Yeah, I think definitely. Of course, I haven't seen much. I've only seen little clips of races from this tier, but from what you've been telling me, I'm excited to see this race unfold.
Obviously, last time out in Austria, I was actually losing my voice by the end of the race. So hopefully, they bring us the same level of excitement again here tonight, as we have just received confirmation that the grid is going to be readying up to get themselves back into the lobby. Of course, it is Reese on pole position. Everyone only had one opportunity to get a lap in before the rain hit. Reese was the man who came out on top of that, and he has Alpha Kevin alongside him on the front row. In terms of the guys that have looked good so far this season, obviously Soapbox down in P7, Ismail down in P13. Big opportunity for Reese in this race, as we are going to transfer back over to the racing, loading back into the lobby. So we will be getting underway shortly, and we're not going to miss these 5 red lights. As I just have a lovely little sip of water there, just to make sure that I do have a drink on hand. That's the one thing I forgot about last week, well, 2 weeks ago. So a quick reminder to all the drivers as well in the lobby, make sure you remember your setups. Make sure you remember to load your setups, because that is the last thing you want to forget, especially going into a race like Spain. Setups so crucial around here, as we got Salta in the chat saying evening. Good evening to you as well, Salta. Hopefully you're having a fantastic Monday wherever you are around the world. And we are here waiting patiently for those 5 red lights to get us underway here in Spain for the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia, Spanish Grand Prix. Round number 4 in F4 on the PlayStation tier here in PSGL. Myself, Michael Edwards, and Danny Quinn going to be taking you through the action here tonight. I'll tell you what though, Quinn, I'm going to come to you. Prediction. Podium prediction.
I think Reese will win. I think Soapbox will get podium second, and could throw it out there and say Santero third.
Okay. I'm gonna agree with you on the top 2. I think Reese has just shown great pace so far this season. The Soapbox as well. I think those 2 are good candidates for the top 2. In terms of P3, I'm actually gonna go with Mankley. He's gonna be starting from P6. he's shown good pace so far this season, so definitely one to keep an eye on, in my opinion, as we go to those 5 red lights to get underway here for round number 4. The 5 red lights are out and we are underway here in Spain, and it looks like a very, very good start there for the man on pole position, as Alpha Kevin is unable to get alongside to put him under pressure into turn 1.
Yeah, very good start there. Even from Sam as well, it was a very good start there, getting ahead of the Red Bulls and pushing one of the Red Bulls down to 4th. And yeah, very good start there for Reese. Santero up to 13th already, so my prediction's starting to look good. And yeah, Soapbox has actually lost the places. There's loads of battles going on through the field. Sam and Boyalulu switching positions non-stop. They're going side by side. They're still side by side, but Sam eventually does get through.
Yeah, as
Big
Santero gets, well, he's trying to get through on Boyolulu as he side by side with Boyolulu as he come through turn number 12. Santero able to hold on to P12. Federico also getting through on Ismail. Ismail now making progress up the grid on lap 1. Soapbox down in the spot as mentioned, and we got Tio on those soft tyres, and I think we're going to get team orders here with the Red Bulls.
Oh, maybe not. Yeah. Potentially Neil's just had a better exit through the last corner. Going wide is Tio.
Tio's just had so much more grip compared to
Really outside.
It's a fantastic here from Tio. He's able to pull it off, and that is not what you want to see, contact between the teammates.
Yeah, I think there's going to be no multi-21s here. No multi-21s here.
It's Sam that's made a mistake, and that's going to allow Niels to get through on him, and we got Tio directly in behind, possibly going to be shaping up and move down the inside in towards turn number 10 on the soft tyres. A little bit of contact made as he loses control of his car momentarily. They're still side by side, coming through 11 and 12, and that has allowed Mankley down the inside, and he gets both of them. Contact again between Tio and Sam as Lorenzino squeezes his way through also, and he's up the order now.
Yeah, I think Tio wasn't best pleased with Sam's defending and just overall moves, but you can say the same, and more contact with Sam this time with Sally and Dennis, and more moves between Soapbox and Sem, but is not able to stick it through, and Santero gets a move down on Federico, I believe, and Boyalulu's fallen all the way down the order. So it might be an issue for Boyalulu. Solux looks to get a move done, but Boya does have the inside line here, and he makes the move stick.
Yeah, as I just saw then Sem going into the back of Soapbox there, coming in towards turn number 7.
Niels looking around the outside of Reese, but he isn't able to stick it. Sorry for cutting in there, but I just saw right a corner of my eye, but that Reese had lost the lead and then was under attack from Niels.
Yeah, Alpha Kevin getting through with DRS at the start of lap number 3. We're on lap number 4 now. Mankley with the new fastest lap of the race, and he is on a charge right now, is Mankley. He's up into P4, making swift progress up the order, and obviously he was one of the guys I picked for a podium position along with Soapbox currently down in P9, and obviously we got Reese up in P2 right now. That is my podium prediction. Obviously right now Alpha Kevin doing a good job in holding on to that race lead ahead of Reese, and you got Niels here doing some fantastic attacking now on Reese, trying to hold it around the outside as Reese able to defend well. Good driving from the pair of them, and we're going to see who's going to come out on top here, because Niels right now is putting Reese under pressure.
Yeah, it definitely is, and yeah, he just took that corner so much better than Reese, but Reese is deploying just a little bit there, just to defend and potentially put a little bit of pressure on Kevin.
Yeah, and Kevin taking a very different line to Reese through turn 12. Reese keeping it very tight in the corner, and of course Kevin letting the car to drift out a little bit and then tuck it back in on the exit. And it seems like that line from Kevin actually worked out well for him. But here comes Reese with DRS, and it's just going to be job done into the braking for turn number 1.
Yeah, very good move
Laurentino and
yeah.
Tio side by side as Laurentino gets through. And that's going to allow Sam to have a little look. And remember, these two have already made a little bit of contact thus far. And we got our spinner down there in the back. I think that is Sam and Boyo Lulu that have gone around.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. It looks like there's some front right end plate damage there from Sam. And it looks like Boyo Lulu doesn't have any visible damage. But yeah, definitely damage on the front wing for Sam.
I'll tell you what, for Boyo Lulu right now, this is going to be absolutely heartbreaking that he's out of this DRS train, and it'll be the same for Sam as well, but Sam will surely have to come into the pits and change that front wing and get it repaired. But for Boyo Lulu, I mean, he's 5 seconds off the back of the train, and being out of the train around a circuit like this can be hugely detrimental to your race result.
Yeah, definitely can, and got some close battles here, particularly with Niels and the front two, and it looks like Reese might be losing 2 positions here, and he does, but Niels isn't able to capitalise on Kevin, so yeah, Reese losing 2 positions, and yeah, Sam has retired.
Did he potentially put into
it
the
might
pit
have crashed in the pit lane.
I was wondering then if he put it into the pit wall entry, which is very easily done, especially if you do have front wing damage. But I don't know, safety car here, lap 6 of 33. It has been deployed, and
it has brought Boyo Lulu back into it.
Yep, it absolutely has, and an interesting one now in terms of the strategy for this race, because of course you'd like to think we're still a fair few laps out before even the soft runners will pit onto a set of hard compound tyres. But if you're Tio and Federico and obviously Solax, I'd probably be thinking potentially medium now.
Yeah, there could be an option. There could potentially be a safety car later on in the race which can allow that, as that is Kevin coming in, Neil's coming in, everyone's coming in apparently. Yep, it looks like everyone is deciding to pit. Let's see what Boyo Lulu does, and he pits in as well, so everything we just said is just thrown out the window.
Yeah, and we're going to see who's going to get held up in the pit lane. Of course, who's going to be held up, double stacking with their teammates as well. And right now,
Niels is on the softs.
Yeah, very interesting call from Niels right there. He's opted for the Red Bull soft compound tyre. Everyone else around him on a set of hards. He's going to be lightning quick compared to everyone else on the restart.
Potentially he's thinking about a potential safety car later on. But yeah, it's a very odd choice. Of course, the hards are going to be very difficult to get to the end from when the safety car comes in. So potentially Niels is just going to try and avoid the hard tyres and just do a 2-stop on another set of mediums after this soft stint.
Well, he's going to have to, obviously he should have the grip on those soft tyres to immediately make a move on Alpha Kevin and have the pace on him to potentially pull away. And obviously for Niels, he needs to build enough of a gap that when he does make a pit stop for a set of mediums, he's going to have the pace to really close back in, because of course he will lose a lot of time in the pit lane and he will have to rein that back in. He will be on, well, we assume will be mediums. Who knows, maybe he might go into a set of hards at a more appropriate time in the race to go into a set of hards. But everyone else in the grid on the set of hards, I think they are confident in being able to get to the end of them. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Safety car still out on track right now. Lap 7 of 33. There's Alpha Kevin leading the way. Niels there in P2 with Reese in P3, Mankley P4, Lorenzino P5, Sam Van in P6, Soapbox in P7. Then we've got Sem in P8 as Dennis picks up a 10-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags. Heartbreak there for Dennis, and seems like he's coming straight into the pits to serve that. As I believe 10-second time penalties are now able to be reduced in the pits.
Yeah, and it's, well, you never want it to happen, but it's a good idea to serve it in the pits whenever you get one.
And it's a front wing change as well for Dennis, an option for a set of mediumship.
Yeah, I think, well, the mediums, as we know, probably won't be getting to the end, so it'll be potentially another 2-stop. As Dennis is just coming out of the pit lane now. And yeah, he's got to make up, what is it, 3 corners distance between himself and Boyolulu. So I think he'll be able to do it.
Yeah, he should get onto the back of the grid before the safety car comes in. Of course, coming through turn number 4 now as the drivers are coming through turn number 7 and 8 coming up the hill. He should catch onto the back of him in the final sector. It'll be a case of the safety car, is it coming in this lap or will it stay out for one more lap, I wonder. And it looks like it's going to stay out for another lap here.
Yeah, unless it's a late call in and Dennis can get to the back of the field, I think it'll stay out for one more lap.
Oh no, late call in.
Safety car is in, yeah.
Alright, well I'm staying on board with Niels on this restart because he is going to be absolutely flying on the restart on those soft tyres, and Kevin's going to have to be on his A game on this restart just to make sure he stays ahead into turn number 1.
Yeah, he's not really slowing down. He's decided to go now, not really catching Niels off guard, but you can see the pace differential already between the two. But that is Reese getting very close, and Mankley even getting very close to the back of Reese. Although a little mistake there has brought Lorenzino onto the rear wing.
Oh my god, around the outside of turn 3 for Niels there, getting the move done on Alpha Kevin, and honestly that is just pure grip, the softs versus the hards. Oh, big moment there for Niels, losing the back end. He's gone around, he's gone off track, and he's fallen all the way down to the back of the field.
Yeah, he just got, I think he might have clipped the grass before he got on the curb, and that just sent him round.
Well, what looked like it could have been a good strategy there for Niels to get himself into the race lead, to pull away, just turned into absolute calamities for the Red Bull, as he is now down towards the back of the field, as we saw the position changes between Tio and Sem there momentarily, as Sem in P7, Tio in P8, the second of the Red Bulls here tonight. Of course, Niels down the back of the grid now. Not ideal if you are a Red Bull fan, as we look at these guys funneling through turn number 1, as Tio does get the move done on Sem, as we turn our attention towards the front, as it looks like Federico able to hold off Boyolulu there for P13. Oh, big moment there from Lorenzino. We just cut on board with him there as he catches a big snap. Sam Van Morrison down the inside through turn number 5, and his job done for the Williams. Coming up for the hill now through turn number 9. Is Lorenzino going to be able to come back here? He's going to have the run. Is he going to try it around the outside? No. Beautiful defending there from Sam Van. As Dennis on those mediums making progress. He's up in the P10 now. Of course, his tyres are going to be quicker than the hards at this stage in the race. As, big moment again for Lorenzino. Just taking too much of that inside curb in the penultimate corner. Losing the back end, and now he's going to be under threat from Soapbox in behind. Meanwhile, at the front, Reese getting through on Alpha Kevin. Up into the race lead once again is the Sauber of Reese, and with Soapbox in P6, Ismail down in P13, it's looking good for Reese to try and take the lead in the Drivers' Championship here, Quinn. I'm not sure what's happening to my my co-commentator. Maybe internet has kind of disconnected him momentarily, but we'll try to make sure we bring you the action as best as we can while we wait for him to reconnect. Reese leading the way, Alpha Kevin in second place, Mankley in P3 under pressure from Sam Van Merzen, and then of course we got Lorenzino there trying to get himself back into P4 after making a few mistakes. P6 for Soapbox, and Soapbox so far this season has just been cool, calm, collected. He's just been going about his race, not getting involved in anything that he doesn't need to be involved in. And that has been the mark of Soapbox so far this season in F4. As Alpha Kevin gets back through on Reese with DRS, back into the race lead goes the Alpine ahead of the Sauber, and it is Alpha Kevin back in the race lead. Lap 12 of 33. Mankley trying to put a bit of pressure on Reese, as is Sam Van putting the pressure on Mankley here in towards turn number 10. They funnel through. Dennis up in the P7 now. He's doing very well for himself, and I'm not sure if Quinn is back and is able to hear me. Quinn, are you back? I'll take that as a no, as Dennis continuing on his charge up the order, as he's now in P7 trying to get into the back of the top 6, as we see Reese retake the race lead ahead of Alpha Kevin. These two are just trading in the race lead back and forth with DRS, as Mankley there holding on to P3, unable to get a move done thus far, but he might go for it now around the outside potentially at turn number 4. No, maybe try to look for a little bit of a cutback. No, again, he's not going to be able to do it. Alpha Kevin not going to be able to get through on receiver, as we got Sam Van trying it around the outside of Mankley there in turn 5, and it's not going to be a job done for the Williams man. He's going to have to sit in behind and wait patiently for his next opportunity.
Oh, sorry about that. I was just having some technical issues, but it's all sorted now.
Lovely stuff, as we have Sam again trying it around the outside of Mankley through turn 10 this time. Almost getting the job done, but just getting a little bit of a wiggle in the background. Sam is putting the pressure on Mankley for that final podium position, as we got Alpha Kevin and Reese just trading the race lead back and forth every single lap with DRS.
Yeah, Tio's getting very close to the back of Sem, but now he's just pulling away with DRS, and yeah, another move for Alpha Kevin on Reese. Mankley, yeah, it's just the top 2 trading positions, and it's not really much anyone behind them can do. But Solax does get a move on Ismail, but Ismail's looking around the outside, potentially looks to switch, but Solax covers it off, and yeah, good defending there from Solax. A little bit of a lock-up there from
Red
Ismail.
Bulls. Sorry, the Red Bull there, almost sideways there. I think a little bit of contact between Tio and Sem, and that was not ideal, as Santiro able to get through. Same with Federico, as Sem loses positions, and so does Tio. Tio dropping down behind Ismail now as they run through turn number 10, as Tio tries to get himself back into the things, and the Red Bulls,
It does have front wing damage.
Yeah, the Red
Both
Bull.
of the Rebels.
Yep, the Red Bulls are absolutely in disaster right now.
Yeah, and Tio's in the pits. Believe he's gonna potentially retire from the session here. Yes, he does. And Niels is carrying on.
We've had two retirees so far, Sam and Tio. It's not looking good for Red Bull right now in terms of picking up points here, but look at this. Mankley sends one down the inside in towards turn number 5 on Reese. Reese trying to get the better exit and trying to get a run onto him in towards turn number 7, but it's not going to work. Mankley now up into P2, Reese down to P3.
Yeah, Mankley, that's a great move down at turn 5. And yeah, he's just putting himself in contention for this race win. And of course, 8 laps on these hards for everyone that's on them, so it's gonna be quite difficult even still, because you still gotta get 18 more laps done on these tyres. So people who are looking after them the most are gonna reap the rewards at the end of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. As Soapbox getting close to the back of Lorenzino, as we see a change to the race lead. Mankley getting through on Alpha Kevin with the assistance of DRS down the start finish straight. Mankley now for the first time in this race in the race lead. And one thing I wanted to bring up as well, and this is just the importance of not having DRS in this race. Niels, obviously, he had that moment when he took the race lead and drove all the way to the back of the grid. He is now 11 seconds off the pack for the fact that he did not have DRS when everyone else was in the train, and also with the fact his tyres are now beginning to go away.
Well, he does have front wing damage as well still, so that's a factor in this as well. But yeah, 11.5 seconds. He could have pit again for a new set of softs and potentially made up a bit of the gap. But yeah, it's not looking good for Niels unless there's a safety car sometime soon.
Yeah, as Federico gets through on Santiago there for P8, so both Ferraris, P7 and P8 right now, they line astern. As here goes Alpha Kevin back through on Mankley, and here comes Reese as well. Having a look down the inside of Mankley into turn 1, job done there for Reese.
Oh, Sam has front wing damage. He hit the back of Mankley going through turn 1, and he's got front wing damage.
Lorenzino almost drawing alongside Sam there. As you mentioned, with wing damage, he's going to be very vulnerable now in this middle sector with Lorenzino that close behind him.
Yeah, he is, and he's getting the rear end twitches, and yeah, it's not going to be looking good for Sam, because he's pretty much holding up everyone else behind him, even though the gap to the car ahead isn't that great. Well, yeah, through that high speed corner, he's really struggling to keep it on track, and yeah, Lorenzino's got the inside line here, should have the position, and he does. Great move there.
Wobble there from Lorenzino, but he manages to hold on to position. But this is where it's going to be interesting now in terms of the race now. It all unfolds, because Sam is going to be a moving chicane for these drivers right now.
Yeah, it really is, but he's just not got enough. He just was too far back from Lorenzino to get a move done. And that is Sem off into the grapple trap at the end of turn 1. Not sure if there was contact, but Niels has finally come in. Sem has a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits.
Soapbox through, up in the P5 goes. Soapbox, of course, a man at the top end of the championship. Obviously, Joris likes food, not here tonight, so it's 3 points gained on Joris for the likes of Soapbox, Reese, and of course Ismail, who's all the way down in 11th place. Currently not in the points is Ismail, but Soapbox making progress. He's getting up the order. You got Mankley up there, you got Reese up there. Alpha Kevin though doing a fantastic job in holding on to the race lead, as we got Sam and Federico, they swapping positions, so they're ghosting through each other. So it seems like they had a little bit of a moment to end up ghosting to begin with.
Yeah, and both Ferraris might even get past Sam here, and even Santero, if he has enough speed. No, he just doesn't. But it's still a little bit of contact there between Dennis and Sam, and then Federico goes wide. And yeah, more contact.
And here comes
Just
Solax.
Constantina effect, and I believe Sam might be retiring in the pit lane because he did speed in.
As we got Solax through.
Oh,
Yeah,
there.
there we go. Sam retiring in the pit lane. Solax through up in the P9 goes the Haasman. And of course, that means Santero down to P10, the final point position. He has Ismo on the back of him, and Boyolulu in P12 as well. Honestly, this is going to be
Mankley gets the move done.
Mankley trying to get himself through, and just to point out as well, of course, last time we went racing 2 weeks ago in Austria, Mankley on track won the race, but of course a post-race penalty meant that he was not able to keep it. He's going to be looking to try and rectify that with a victory here tonight.
Yeah, definitely is, and I think it might be another double overtake here, but Reese was trying. Oh, it looked like Reese was trying to block off Alpha Kevin there, but he didn't actually manage to block him off. And Mankley from being P1 to, well, P3 now in a space of, well, 2 corners.
Yeah, and of course Sam, what's called being mobile chicane. There is a little bit of a split in the midfield right now. Federico, he's doing his best to stay within DRS, but he's on the teetering edge of it now after trying to navigate the Williams or Sam van.
He is about 3/4 of a second, but it's mainly, well, yeah, Santero. He's, yeah, like you said, really teetering on the edge, and just looking at Mankley, he's getting all sorts of contact.
Lorenzino on the inside of Mankley, and that's a fantastic overtake there from Lorenzino. Very opportunistic, very, very well taken there from the Visa Kashap Racing Bull. And Lorenzino up into the podium position, but for how much longer? Because here comes Mankley back at him as Kevin gets back into the race lead. Around the outside goes Mankley. A little bit of a moment there for Lorenzino. That's allowed Soapbox there to draw alongside him as we go through turn number 3 right now, side by side with Soapbox and Lorenzino. Soapbox trying to hold it all the way around the outside as you've got the Scuderia Ferraris in the mix as well. Federico looking to get involved in this. Soapbox up in the P4. Tighter line there for Federico to try and get alongside Lorenzino, but not able to do so. He's going to send it down the inside though. Big lock up at the rear for Federico, and very fortunate that Dennis was able to avoid contact with his teammate right there.
Yeah, it's very, very lucky, and to me it looked like it might have been a late move to defend it from Lorenzino, but that's just in my opinion. And just going back to the front, there are some healthy gaps forming between the cars, around about 4 or 5 tenths, but we know that anything can happen, as there is a battle for P5. Lorenzino just having a little bit of a rear step out, which allows Federico to go through, and Dennis on the medium tyres, not close enough, and Federico did have DRS there, as there's another change for the lead in this race as Reese retakes it.
Yeah, Reese back into the race lead once again. Lap 22 of 33. We are 2/3 into this race. Of course, we've had one safety car that was deployed on lap 6, and everyone came into the pits on a set of the hard compound tyres. Dennis had to come in because he got damage on his front wing, so he chucked on a set of mediums under the safety car. And then of course you had Niels on the set of the softs, got into the race lead, and then had a huge moment on the exit of turn 4, dropped all the way to the back of the field, and now is on fresher medium tyres, but 40 seconds off the back. Even if everyone was to make a second pit stop, he's still going to come out behind them.
Yeah, it's not been a good, well, it started off as a good race for Niels, but then after he took the lead, it just started falling apart. And yeah, I feel sorry for Niels, because his strategy could have definitely worked with being on fresher tyres at the end of the race. and could have been in a high point scoring position.
Yeah, as here goes Alpha Kevin back through on Reese, and Mankley's going to try and follow through. Down the inside in towards turn number 1 goes the Mercedes on the Sauber. They're still side by side coming through turn 2 in towards turn 3. Reese trying to hold it around the outside as Mankley tries to keep it on the inside, but Reese is going to have that position and he's going to hold off the Mercedes for the time being.
Yeah, and Soapbox is right on the back of this front three, and he's quietly just found his way sneaking up through the field, as that is Santero and Dennis fighting for position. Still, well, it was side by side, but Santero does get the move done. They've just got feeling that those medium tyres on Dennis's car are just slightly falling off.
Yeah, looks like Dennis's mediums are beginning to fall away from him. Potentially we might see him into the pits for possibly a set of soft compound tyres. Maybe we will have to wait and see, but Sem leaving the session, of course, unhappy with how his race has gone, and a heartbreak there for the McLaren team as they lose their only driver, their only representative here tonight, as Soapbox closing in on Mankley here as Reese goes for the race lead. Gets the job done, does Reese. Kevin back down to P2, and I'm not gonna lie, my podium prediction is actually looking okay at the moment.
I mean, mine could be looking a bit better, but it's just Santero in 7th and Soapbox in 4th. There's a bit of front wing that's just fallen off. I'm not sure who from.
Federico there tried it down the inside of Soapbox. He's going to lose the spot now to Lorenzino now because of it. And Federico trying to make these overtakes work, and he's just leaving himself vulnerable. And I think
yeah, it is. It is the Ferrari that's lost a bit of the front wing.
I was about to say a bit of understeer from Federico, so I'm presuming his front wing got slightly damaged there whilst trying to go for the move on Soapbox. But back to what I was saying with the podium predictions. Obviously, the three drivers I predicted for the podium, obviously they're not in the right order for me at the moment, but they're all in the top 4 as Alpha Kevin gets back through into the race lead.
Yeah, it's looking good for you, but you're looking to Santero. He's right on the back of Federico, and goes for that front wing damage. He's gonna be understeering through the right hand corners, I believe it is. Yeah, he's gonna be understeering through the right hand turn. Of course, with it being a clockwise circuit, most of the corners are gonna be right hand turns, so it's not looking good for Federico as Santero gets right on the back of him, and it's just a matter of time really for Santero to get this move done. But still within DRS range is Federico, and that's his saving grace, is just able to have enough speed to keep Santero behind and just slightly have enough control to be, well, a rolling roadblock here.
Yeah, he's going to have DRS again down the start finish straight, will Federico, and that's going to annoy Santero somewhat, as Santero is closing in. Is he going to be able to make a move? It looks like he will have the overspeed to make the move down around the outside and gets it before the turn in for turn number 1. As Reese and Alpha Kevin side by side through turns 3 here, and Reese back into P1 again.
Yeah, it's been very, very good fighting here at the front, and it just looks like Boya Lulu just losing a bit of time to the back of Ismail. And that is Sam as well, still with the front wing damage. But he's still managing to keep up with Boya Lulu, which is surprising with front wing damage that he has.
Yeah, everyone inside the top 10 or in the DRS range of each other. There's the first penalty, the first 3-second penalty, and it's gone the way of Federico, who of course we know has a bit of wing damage, and he is losing time to Santero up ahead of him. and he's causing issues now for Solax in behind.
Yeah, with that penalty, if you're Federico, you just got to try and, well, just keep as high as a position as you can so you can minimise the damage. But with the field this close in the top 10, he's, well, right now he'd actually be falling out of the points.
Here's more getting through on both of the Ferraris in the space of one sector. Ismail up in the P8.
Yeah, very good moves there from Ismail, and now he's just trying to get some damage limitation going, as that is, I believe, Niels with the yellow flag just going through sector 3 now. He's all cleared, and yeah, Reese and Soapbox are getting very close to each other. Soapbox sort of looked for a move, but it just wasn't on, and yeah, a little bit of a mistake from Manlight, just locking up a little bit, but he's still within the range of Alpha Kevin to get a move done down a pit straight. I'm just going to go on board with Manlight here, seeing if he can get a move done on Alpha Kevin. He does have the speed, whether he can bring Reese through as well. It's getting tied, but actually no, they don't, and that is Federico retired from the session in the pit lane, I believe.
Yeah, and this is where we're going to start to see the game of chess begin between these guys at the front, as it's all going to be about having DRS on the right time on the final lap and being in the right position.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is, and everyone who's retired in the pits, you've got to look at Niels now. He's 55 seconds away from the nearest car, and he's only 2 positions away from being in the points.
Yeah, I mean, Niels has kept on going despite all the issues he has faced thus far in Spain, but he's showing great determination at the very least, so he's got to be commended for that, as Mankley getting close to the back of Alpha Kevin, as he has Reese directly behind him. As
Santero!
Yeah, Santero's around. I thought then Ismail made a move on him, but no, it falls down to the back of the field. There's Santero outside the top 10, and that is your podium prediction completely out the window now.
Yep.
And Mankley,
Mankley is really starting to pile the pressure on Alpha Kevin as well as Reese. It's interesting to see the different lines through turn 3, where Mankley likes to go for the inside line, whereas Reese and both Soapbox and Reese prefer the outside line and carry the speed through the exit. So it's interesting to see which lines work out for which drivers.
yeah, absolutely, and of course we are coming towards the end of lap 29, about to begin lap 30 in just a moment's time. 33 laps of Spain, and right now it is Alpha Kevin that is leading the way, but for how much longer? Mankley has been being very patient and playing this very strategically, with possibly going for an overtake on the Alpine in front. Riso is not going to wait around forever for Mankley to go for the overtake. If he doesn't go for the overtake soon, he'll probably press the issue himself.
Yeah, and he was trying to there, and it's really aggressive defending from Reese on the, well, trying to defend from Soapbox, and he was able to.
Well, here comes Soapbox.
Yeah, very quick line there from Soapbox, trying to get turned in and go for the undercut, but he wasn't able to. Lorenzinho down the outside of Soapbox. He's still there. He does get a slightly better exit, but still side by side between the two. Soapbox has the inside line and he's able to keep the position. But Lorenzinho is still there on his rear wing. And yeah, he's got Soapbox's teammate right behind him, 3.5 tenths back. And this is, Lorenzinho has a little bit of a slide. But yeah, Mankley just 2 tenths behind Alpha Kevin. Does he go for the move this time round. Potentially he will. He's getting very close, and so is Reese. Reese may decide to stick behind, and he does. It potentially might not be a smart move, but he's still there. Forced off the track a little bit from Alpha Kevin there. This has allowed Soapbox to get right on the back, and it's allowed Mankley to really start pulling away from the rest of the group.
Yeah, it's Lawrenzino and Soapbox again, side by side coming through turn number 5. And it is going to be Soapbox just about holding on to that position for the time being as they come down in towards the braking for turn number 7. And Soapbox holding on to P4. And basically what we're seeing, obviously, Mankley not really going for the overtake on Kevin for the past couple of laps. Has meant that it's given opportunities to the likes of Lawrenzino to have a look at Soapbox, Soapbox to have a look at Reese. And we're seeing a bit more action going on for like the final podium position.
But right now, getting to the business end of this race, Kevin can pick and choose when he gets to overtake Mankley, and this DRS zone is going to get him right up close. And I think Mankley wants Kevin to overtake him here, going into the last lap, so Mankley can get the overtake done on the next lap.
Yeah, and Reese not going to follow Kevin through. He's going to sit in behind and possibly get that double DRS, the double toe down the start finish straight. Potentially could jump both of them. We have seen it happen already in this race where the man in third place goes into the race lead. So
yeah,
don't rule out Reese out of the race victory proceedings just yet.
But yeah, we've got to, well, one thing Mankley and Reese have got to really, well, try to do is keep up with Alpha Kevin, and this DRS zone is really helping with that. But yeah, seems that Alpha Kevin's really good through the middle sector, and Mankley does have a small enough gap, but Reese got a bad exit.
Yeah, Reese,
and it looks like it's going to be the top two fighting for this, so Kevin's really defending the inside.
Yeah,
but Mankley's just got the overspeed. He's got so much speed on Alpha Kevin. But Reese does look for a late move, but he isn't able to do it, so going into the final lap, it is Mankley, Kevin and Reese, your top 3. Soapbox and Lawrenzino making up your top 5.
Yeah, Mankley getting that move done at the right moment, at the right time. And Reese, that little snap he had in the final sector really cost him massively because he was right on the back of Mankley. That little snap cost him an opportunity of potentially going for the race win here. And
yeah, now we're getting up to the final real overtaking zone. But Mankley got that turn absolutely spot on. 3.5 tenths is the gap. Mankley is going to be deploying everything. So is Alpha Kevin, not able to get through, so potentially this could be it. We could be looking at Mankley to get this race win here. So I'm going to hold my words until we reach the final, well, until we reach the line.
Well, coming from the final corner now, Mankley is going to cross the line to take victory here in Spain ahead of Alpha Kevin in second place. Reese comes on in P3, Soapbox P4, Lawrenzino in P5, Solax in P6, Ismail in P7, Boyo Lulu in P8, Dennis in P9, and I believe Sam will hold on to P10 as long as he doesn't absolutely lose the car for the final corner. Fastest lap of the race thus far has gone the way of Niels, so Niels will be taking that honour of the fastest lap, but Santero now across the line.
No, it doesn't beat it.
Yeah. But that is to complete the Spanish Grand Prix here in PSGL on the PlayStation tier in F4. And it is Mankley taking victory. Remember, last time out in Austria, he was on the top step of the podium. Post-race penalty, though, dropped him from his race win. But he's made up for it here tonight. and he has won it on track again. Mankley is a race winner here in F4, and he is definitely on a charge up the order now in terms of the Drivers' Championship, and definitely a driver to keep an eye on. Of course, Reese, good performance from him. He managed to get himself P3. Alpha Kevin, another great performance for him. He led majority of that race. Obviously trading positions back and forth with Reese and Mankley throughout the entirety of that race. It was only those three that were ever in the race lead. And we'll run you through the order one more time. It is, of course, Mankley, our race winner, ahead of Alpha Kevin in second place. Reese will come home in P3. Soapbox 8 in P4 with Lorenzino in P5. Solax in P6 with Ismail in P7. Boyoludo in P8 with Dennis in P9. And then Sam Van rounding out the final points position in 10th place. Outside the top 10, we had Santero. And, of course, Niels, who picked up the fastest lap in 12th place. Now, of course, our non-finishers were Federico, Sem, Tio, and EVE Sam. Well, Quinn, an interesting race to say the least.
Yeah, it was pretty much just a it was pretty much just a DRS train really, and just switching positions through the front four.
Yeah,
front three for the whole race. But yeah, it was quite an interesting race.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, the train was very difficult for some of the drivers to break, but we did start to see where Mankley was kind of setting himself up for the latter stages of the race, where he was refusing to overtake in Kevin. You could see it was beginning to open up doors for the likes of Lorenzino and of course Soapbox. Maybe have a little go, have a little pop down the inside of Reese, or around the outside of Soapbox in the case of Lorenzino. But in the end, Mankley comes out on top in Spain, and after the race win last time out was conceded due to a post-race penalty, he'll definitely be happy that he's bounced back in such a manner.
Yeah, definitely. He's been... Yeah, the bounce back has been very good for him.
And
in
of
this
course,
race, and yeah, hopefully he can just continue that for the rest of the season.
yeah, absolutely. In terms of the championship, as the way things stand right now, I believe Soapbox will take the championship lead. As long as there's no post-race penalties that come into play, Soapbox will take the championship lead. He'll be on 33 points. Reese will be on 31 points in second place. I believe Ismail picking up 7th place, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. Let me just quickly confirm that. Yes, it is 7th place. There we go. We love that. 7th place there for Ismail does mean that he'll pick up 4 points, and of course will put himself just ahead of Joris Likes Food. So Reese, Soapbox, and Ismail all jumping ahead of Joris, and a big gainer, obviously Mankley, going from P9 on 9 points. He will jump himself up to 25 points, tied with Joris Likes Food, and that is going to be a big boost for him going into the next race, which of course, Quinn, the next race of the championship will see us head to let me just remember where the calendar is. There it is. Of course, the next race will see us go to Hungary for round number 5, and that is of course another circuit that can be incredibly interesting in terms of the racing.
Yeah, it's called Monaco without walls for the reason is very, very difficult circuit to overtake at. So yeah, qualifying will be quite important at Hungary, and I expect it to be very, very close.
Yeah, and a very good chance of rain there at Hungary as well. But guys, to the action here in F4. Make sure you guys go ahead and jump on over to the action in both F1 and F3 underway right now. And you get to see the pinnacle of PSGL on the PlayStation TS. But ladies and gentlemen, I have been Michael Edwards. He has been Danny Quinn, and we'll catch you next week for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Until then, guys, it is goodbye.
See you.